All right, Gilbert Dorino, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I was cage side. I was sitting with your buddy Raheem Mozart
Oh, nice.
at
My
the fight,
guy.
and his wife, my wife. Like we were literally like right next to them the
Yeah.
entire time. So we
Cool.
saw you hop on the cage and say what's up to them right after you won.
Yeah. He's my guy, He's I went to a couple Dolphin games, we get to know each other. We exchange contact. I text him and say, you gotta come to the fight. And then eventually he made it. That's cool.
Yeah, because Mike McDaniel, the coach, is one of our really close friends, and they took us.
Nice.
So we were like McDaniel had Mozart's tickets too, so we were all
Oh,
together.
nice.
So
Nice.
we were real close watching that fight, man. That was man. I mean, obviously you get to see the fights real close all the time, but I've gone, I went to in the last 2 years I've gone to 11 events because
Wow.
I host groups sometimes, but man, I've never sat like that. Oh my gosh. I didn't even take a note of this. I have to tell you this before we even get started. So out of those 11 events and however many fights, we usually go to all, like we go to even the prelims and everything. Out of all those fights, the absolute clear winner for the best fight we've ever been to in that or will ever be is the one 273 when you fought Khamzat. Dude,
Well, that was
like
crazy
I,
too,
I
right?
couldn't I couldn't pick things up with my hands because I had been smashing my rings into my hands. Like I lost my mind. That's the best fight I've ever seen by 100 miles, dude.
No,
Thank you
that
for
was
that
another.
fight.
You're welcome. That's a great moment. So yeah, a lot of people until today when they see me, they say, "Hey, I was in Jacksonville." I say, "Okay,
Ugh.
how?" And I always ask, "How was that moment?" They say, "Man, that was crazy."
It's the greatest, dude. And I've tried to tell people on the channel about this. I can't believe I forgot about this. Like I knew you were coming on, and I just didn't even it didn't even come into my mind until just now. But like, so the best moment from that fight. So we were in the front row of where you entered. We
Yeah.
were in the front row of the lower section. So not the floor seats, but the first row. So like we were high fiving people on the way. So we were right there. And there's that moment that I'm pretty sure it was the third round where you guys had been just banging it out and you guys got into a scramble and then you stood back up and then you guys squared up and you smiled at him and it was on the screen. Everybody saw it. Dude, that was like, and the whole place, like everybody saw it and erupted, like you stopped and smiled at him and you guys had that moment. It was like, that's the best moment I've ever seen ever. I'm a fanatic of this sport. That's the best moment of any UFC fight I've ever seen ever.
Nice. That was a cool moment. It was just like it got up, and I look at him. He was getting tired, and I'm like, I see what you're feeling. That was a that was a
Yeah.
good moment.
What was it like being in there for that fight? Like, how did that fight compare to other fights, just like in the experience itself?
Every fight has a different feeling, So to be honest, a couple fights ago, I stopped trying to feel the same I feel in the last fight, So every time you don't get to feel the same things, The oh I when I get there, I want to make sure I feel that way. No, it does happen. It's like I just accept the feeling that I'm gonna have there, that I know I gotta perform. And for me, I like to stay calm.
Yeah,
If I stay very calm, I'm good. If I'm hyped up, if I'm too much, I'm gonna make a mistake.
yeah,
So I just accept, and I accept how I'm gonna feel in the moment. And another thing that I do too, I just try to understand what lesson I'm gonna learn. What's gonna be the lesson, because it's always a lesson. Sometimes you gotta be patient. Sometimes you gotta accept that you're gonna get hurt a little bit in order to win. Sometimes it's gonna take like 2 rounds until you finally get your rhythm.
hmm
And I'm just kind of observing, trying. I always ask myself, what's gonna be the lesson this time? I
yeah,
hope I don't need to lose to learn it. So I hope I keep winning, stay calm, and then I learn. But now that's it. Now I know every fight is gonna be a different feeling. Every fight is gonna have a lesson to learn, and I just gotta accept. Okay, today I'm more nervous than normal. It is what it is today. Okay, this time I'm not that nervous. I'm actually okay. Okay, so every time there are things that we cannot control. We just should accept and keep going on that way.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of yours, and I've been on your train since like when I started this channel in April of 2020. And I remember very early on, like one of the first things I was talking about in the welterweight division was I was like, Gilbert Burns is the guy that people are sleeping on. That was before you were really on the map. It was after you starched Damian Maia. And then, I made a big video predicting that you were going to beat Kamaru, and I took a bunch of shit for it afterwards. But I was like, dude, the fight basically played out exactly how I said, because you almost beat it in the first round.
Almost,
great. That was a great fight. But yeah, man, I watch you and you just, there's, like when you look at certain fighters, and you're handicapping a fight, you're like, okay, this guy's really strong in the first round. He fades, or he's great on the ground, but if he gets stuck on his feet, then yada. Like there's nowhere that a fight can go where you are at a significant disadvantage ever,
But I keep putting a lot of work to that not happen.
Sure.
That's to be honest, that's a fear that I have to get in a situation in a movement or in a place in the fight that I don't know what to do. That what motivates me to train, to keep looking forward to. And I'm doing scouts on myself, so I have people studying for me, telling me how they can beat me, so that's what I'm doing next now, getting to the next level. Okay, your hands are dropping at that moment, you're doing these, you might get caught here, say, okay, let's train you on that, don't let that happen. So I'm trying to get on that level that I'm gonna have an answer to everything and everywhere the fight goes, and kind of explaining that is easy, but putting all the work is just like non-stop working. So I'm gonna have 2, maybe 3 weeks recovery for that training camp and for the fight. Is more my body is good, I don't have nothing. Got a couple kicks, I got a couple punches, but nothing major. But the adrenaline that takes, to be composed on this fight, the mental work that I do is just I'm very tired from it. My body, like I said, my body is good. I can go to a run, I can train. I'm not going to, but I can't if I have to. But mentally, I'm very, very tired. So, but exactly what you said, to kind of close all those gaps, it takes so much working that I've been doing, and I'm gonna keep on doing, but it's just not easy. So Saturday fight was over. Then still good. All the press conference, the post conference, and everything. So I got back to the hotel. I don't know, like maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Family was there. Kids went to sleep. We got food. I went to sleep maybe 5 a.m. and then woke up at 8:30. We closed the bags, check out, drove back home, and I gotta. I'm a guy that I have a couple little things like I gotta be organized. I cannot. If things are all over, I gotta fix everything before I do another thing. So I have those details thing that. So I gotta do my all the bags again, put all the clothes to wash and then clean everything. I'm like crazy. And then I did all that. And then we have people coming over for a barbecue. So we did that. We have a couple friends coming. And then after that, we drove to Orlando to Universal. I said the kids, if everything goes good, don't get injured, we're going to Universal Monday. You guys don't go to school.
Yeah.
So Monday we spent all day in Universal and we drove back yesterday night because they have class today. They had school today, so today I'm feeling everything. Like today,
Yeah.
mentally, my like I said, my body's good. I just need a couple extra hours of sleeping, then I'm gonna be okay. But mentally, I'm like, wow, I need a little break.
I appreciate you getting on getting in the interview, even feeling how you do. But like, yeah, I mean man, that was such a big win. The welterweight division is like so weird because I'm usually pretty good at kind of predicting like, okay, this is how the UFC is going to match make. Like I've been historically very like good at predicting how it's going to play out, and it's like it's just so bizarre right now because Kamaru was in there for so long, and then Leon wins, and it's like now everybody's in there. But there's not really one clear person outside. I mean, obviously Colby's fighting next, and then it's like you got, Kamaru's gonna have to fight someone, and theoretically, if Colby wins, maybe Kamaru could talk his way into like an immediate, third fight with Colby, and then you have you and Bilal, and it's just like it's hard to say what they're going to do. I know Bilal is trying to fight. He's trying to fight Kamaru, and then. But I mean, honestly, they could do you and Bilal, and then you know, whoever wins that gets the next title shot. If they give Kamaru whoever wins this next one out of Colby and Leon, and then they do a title eliminator between you and Bilal. That seems like that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but what they're gonna do? They're gonna have. He's almost a done deal. The Kobe's fighting Leon July 22nd or
Yep.
29, and I'm gonna be the backup. I'm gonna be the one.
Oh,
there.
is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the backup for that. And
Nice.
they said I'm next for the title.
Oh, nice.
But I agree. Bilal Muhammad is right there too. Bilal Muhammad is maybe one win away. If he fights Kamaru and he beats Kamaru, he's next. I don't know if he's going to fight Kamaru or not. The UFC wants to make him against Shavkat. If he wins, I think he's next. And if Shavkat wins, maybe Shavkat needs one more. But yeah, I think I'm right there. Bilal Muhammad's right there. Kamaru's right there. You have a good reason. So everybody is there, you know. So we'll see. I know for sure I'm going to London whenever they book the fight in July. I'm going to be the backup and we'll
So
see.
you're
We'll
just
go
going to
from
do a
there.
full training camp as if you're fighting
Yep.
and go back it up. See, that's why that's when people talk about the people who take the backup role and then how that plays into who gets the next title shot. I think that's the part of the conversation that people don't factor in is like, if you take that role as the backup, you're doing a full fight camp, not even knowing if you're going to fight. So for sure, they should get the next title shot for that. You know what I mean? Like to me, at
Yeah.
least, it seems like putting on all that work, not even being sure if you're going to fight. That. I mean, obviously you get paid, but it seems like that's a pretty good, compelling reason that they would get the next title shot in my eyes.
Yeah, and we invest a lot of money, you know, for every camp. It's super expensive to do my camps because I gotta hire sometimes an extra guy to do the to mimic my opponent. Sometimes you don't have these at the gym, so I gotta bring a guy out and help the guy out with the hotel, food,
Yeah.
and pay the guy, and then I pay extra strength conditioning, and then I pay extra PT,
Yeah.
and then I have all the costs, and it's a lot of cost to have a good training camp. And I overall I have a very healthy lifestyle, but when I'm in camp, even more, you know, then I gotta eat everything organic, everything good. So it takes a lot of money, very,
Yeah.
very expensive, and plus all the hard work, you know. So it's not easy to get prepared to a fight. And they pay us sometimes it's not even close what we should make because we're not fighting, you know. We didn't fight. We just make the weight. It's not even your show money. It's for sure it's a help, but it's not your show money, you know. Even that you're showing up to a fight, that costs a
Is it a
lot.
flat rate for backup fighters, or does it depend? Because like I mean, your estimated came out as pretty good, dude. You have a good agent. Like at least if I mean, I don't know if it's real or not, but like
I don't know if it's real because it's something show crazy numbers that is not that crazy that I'm
oh
doing that.
really?
Yeah.
Well, either way, like so
How
is
much do
there
they
a
say? How
I
much do they
think they
say
said
money?
800 like 800K or something like that.
I hope it's not that. I would be glad if it's that. It's not that. I
Uh,
wish we're getting closer, but it's not that.
Fair enough. But do
I
you know,
wish.
like, is
I
there like a
wish.
flat rate backup fee?
Yeah. Yes, they do kind of something around 50K, something like that. So it's not worth, you know. That's
50K
why. Yeah, that's
even
why. Yeah, it's not
wow.
worth. So that's why they give you the next title, you know. But it's
Yeah,
not
okay.
worth.
Then they really got to give you the next
Yeah.
title.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because like, I mean, because like I don't think people, I don't think a lot of people realize how much it costs to like to really do a camp like you were just saying. Because like my jujitsu professor Victor Hugo, they tried to Cyril Gahn wanted him to come out and be his grappling coach for the John Jones fight, but they just didn't have budget. You know, like he's like, dude, if I'm gonna fly to France and live there for however long, he's like, they
Yeah.
just don't have budget for that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah. It's expensive. Like
yeah,
sometimes I gotta bring a guy in. Sometimes he gives the price. It is what it is. You know, I gotta pay. Like I go out of my way to pay these guys. Thank God now I have a couple sponsors that can help me out.
yeah,
But whenever I brought Raymond Dennis when I was fighting Wonder Boy, I gotta put a guy on a hotel. You know, had a car for him because you know he was doing good. He said, "Hey, I don't need to go, but if you want to go, it's that much." So I pay flight, hotel, car, food, plus his money. Yeah, I gotta make the guy happy.
Dude.
Well, while he's here, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah. Is this one of your sponsors? These
Yeah,
guys?
RVCA. Yeah,
Dave, I was just talking to my buddy who owns Melon Hats, and he was asking about I don't know if I should say, like, he was asking me about a specific fighter and whether I thought it was a good fit for sponsorship. And I told him that it was. And then I was saying basically that he should follow the RVCA
yeah,
roadmap for how they like how they broke into MMA was like with really
yeah.
smart surgical partnerships. Like they got
They do
you,
great. Yeah,
Cheeto Vera,
yes.
Rose Namajunas. I think they did. Like I thought that they whoever's telling them who to pick, they did an excellent job.
They do a great job. Yeah, I like the guys at RVCHU, and the quality is good. The brand
Yeah.
is good. They get a lot of surfers, a lot of fighters, skateboarders. I love it. I just all my clothes here at home are Ruka RVCA. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I even, so a couple years ago, I was on a flight with Cheeto, like just a random flight, like a Southwest flight. And he was on with his family and he was wearing this huge RVCA shirt. And then he had some other RVCA. I was like, oh, is he sponsored by RVCA? And then I looked their stuff up and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize they had all these MMA guys. That's how I found out was,
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. But so let's talk about this fight because, man, it was like, so I go to so many fights live and I've sat real close before, but not like that, like not like right there. And it's different when you're right there. Like the way I was explaining it to guys, I'm like, in every other seat I've ever sat in, including front row, where people are coming in and then, you end up watching the screen a lot just because your angle is like, there's someone like filming or the cage or whatever. I didn't look at the screen once on Saturday. I was like, I could see everything, no matter where you guys were in the cage, no matter whether you were grappling or striking, I saw everything. And it was like, and that makes it different, and, and the question I'm kind of getting to is how did you feel? Like, how did George feel to you, like, as an opponent? Because from my seat in the first round, I was like, dude, he looks good, man. Like, I thought George looked really good in the first round. And then did you think you won the first round? Because you immediately shot and just dominated the second round. So I thought maybe you were like, I'm not sure if I won the first round, or what did you think?
I think it dominated the first round. Not crazy, but I think those judges nowadays, they're crazy. I think I won, but I had no idea what they thought.
That's true.
I'm saying, you know what? Let me guarantee the second round and third round, I'm gonna put a lot of pressure on these guys. So on the beginning, it was hard to get his rhythm. He get crazy little movement. Wasn't as easy as I thought I was getting. Not even him, but the rhythm. He was a little far. But after I kind of understand the rhythm a little bit and I get going, he kind of took almost 2 minutes on the first round, and then we get a couple good exchange. I think even though I think what favored me the most in the first round was the big takedown that I had at the end, even though it was 15 minutes, but it was the biggest thing in the whole round. So I think I won the first round, but just to make sure I put a lot of pressure in the second round and the third round, just so those judges don't go crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I saw what you said. I didn't even take a note of this, but now I'm remembering. Like, I saw what you said about the Cheeto Vera decision. I was at that fight too, and I said the same thing. Where I was like, whoever turned in that card and said Cheeto Vera won should never be allowed in the same building as a UFC event, much less be allowed to judge. There's no interpretation. It's fundamentally impossible for someone to have thought that Cheeto won that fight if they were objective, if they were awake and they were watching, unless they're corrupt,
And I agree. And Cheeto Vera is my guy, and I want him to win. But Corey Sanhagen, he was just at the Joey Rogan podcast, I think, last week, and then I just saw a little highlight that came out that he was saying he know that judge Heffrey, one of his teammates fight back in the days, and then the referee made a big mistake in the fight, and they went after him. Hey, why did you do that?
You're kidding.
Yeah, you did a mistake and this and that. And then when he looked, that guy didn't took it for that super well because he was in rush. He said, "Hey, that was a mistake.
It's
You
revenge.
messed up on that fight." And then when he looked, that was the same referee that did that mistake. It was that
The
judge
judge.
that gave the fight. So or so he's dirty anyways, but I think they should put a little bit more eyes on the judging, because especially now, I think the way I see is the market is growing so much with betting. Have so many betting
Yeah,
companies nowadays. Sport betting is just like every other week you have a new betting company, that bring coming up, and they have a lot of different results. You can win by decision, you can win by days, and I think those guys can kind of be working around these, So
for sure.
yeah,
I mean, you think
that's
about
what I
it, and
feel.
the thing is, like, if you have if you have anywhere where people can make legal bets, and you have an edge, which we got one of the judges. I mean, it's like a sure bet in the stock market. Like, they can bet as much as they want. So, like,
You're gonna be making money every week.
if you can make if you know the outcome, or at the very least that for sure you can at least get one judge. I mean, you can there's no bribe amount that you couldn't offer the person, because you just bet 10 times as much. Like, you can give them $100,000 and bet $1 million. You know what I mean? It's like, so I totally agree. And that one was so shameless that it was like, I mean, I just I don't even know what else to say about it. That doesn't surprise me that there was some kind of conflict between them, because it had to be either some kind of personal thing or just stone corruption, because no one could have thought that he won that fight. And so, of course, you guys, that's got to be in the back of your head. And the fact that you guys still are under show and win contracts, which I think is, I understand why UFC does it. I mean, it's an obvious, kind of smart business play, because everybody thinks they're going to win, So, like, when they're calculating their money out, they're like, oh, okay, so I get 200 and 200. So if I fight 3 times, that's it's 1.2 million. And it's like someone's going to lose, though, every single time. Like, one of the fighters is going to lose. So, it's like, I understand why they do it. I just don't like, there are certain guys where you're like, dude, you don't need to incentivize them with a win bonus. Like, they definitely
They're gonna bring.
are going to fight to win no matter what,
I agree, but you kind of get that way whenever you go up in the ranks, whenever you go like fought for the title, whenever you years in the company, many fights, it kind of goes that way. It's a show money only.
Yeah. So in that fight, also, I guess we should talk about the grease thing. So I saw what you said, that he was greased for sure, and the lotion and all that. And I've seen it, and I pay attention to jiu-jitsu stuff. And so I've seen a lot of talk about the grease stuff recently. And then someone said that you made a statement about that today. So what did you like?
Yeah.
So what are your feelings on that? Just kind of front to back.
I was very emotional right after the fight. He was very, very slippery, but the guy's done. He just retired. I don't want to kind of point fingers or do the accusations that I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. And a couple other guys said that he sweats very much. He was always like that. The guys that I know that train with him, that trained it before. So I just made a statement and apologized to George and his team, because I made it an accusation without knowing 100% of.
All good, dude. I was just looking at this thing that I think is the funniest thing. So have you seen all the drama, because Israel Adesanya mocked Pereira's kid after he knocked him out? You seen that?
I saw it. Yeah.
So I just found out today that the kid, at the time that the kid did the thing and he fell, he was 5.
Yes.
And so I have a 5-year-old, and I was looking at this picture of looking at a picture of my 5-year-old, and then imagining getting feeling like I had to get revenge on a kid that age. It's so funny, man, because it's so ridiculous. Like, the kid's 5, man, 5 years old. It's absurd.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? The fight game is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At first, because to me, dude, I'm like, I don't know. When I thought about it, I was like, dude, that's the first time that kid has ever seen his dad unconscious, and so the kid was probably so scared. He's crying. And then Izzy mocked him. I was like, that's pretty fucked up, man. But Pereira now made a statement, and he doesn't care. And I'm like, all right, well, if the dad doesn't care, then I guess, whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't care too. If my kids go to the fight, they already I already have a conversation. You know what can happen. You know, so make sure be respectful because I might lose, I might win. You know, so don't think. And they were there when I fought Khamzat. They were there when I lost to Dan Hooker. They were there many times, so they know what can happen. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think where we were. I think we were talking. Yeah. So we were talking about Jorge and the greasing. So, I mean, so basically other people told you like he sweats a lot and it's high probability he wasn't greased. So, yeah, I mean, there was something else I was going to ask you about that too, which is Damian Maia said that I think Damian Maia fought him in maybe 2017 or 2018, and he said that George had the best defensive jiu-jitsu that he had ever faced. And so I was going to ask you, obviously you're a world champion in jits. How did you feel about his, cause I think people get people don't really like know the kind of the differences. They think that grappling is grappling. And they don't understand that like, there's a big difference between having trouble being able to get up if someone is holding you down versus being able to advance and submit someone. And so I don't know what did you think of his jiu-jitsu?
I think he has a very good jiu-jitsu. I don't think he's the best like that, but he has very good defense, a lot of good answers, good get-ups. Yeah, very, very good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll end up doing, if I had to bet, I would be 50-50 on Jorge doing one more fight, but it would have nothing to do with title contention. It would be something like if Conor lost to Chandler, they do a Conor and Masvidal fight or something like that,
Yeah, I think he's done with the pursuing the title, that run to the title. I think he's done. But I think he'll be open to one more, like a big, crazy, big fight. I think that's the only that might be the only thing that made him back, So a big fight corner or I don't know, Nate, you gotta be something very big to put him back. I don't think if he's not that, I don't think he's back. But if he's a big opportunity for a big money fight, I think he'll be back. But
I agree. Because why would you not?
Just for that, that's the only reason that might put him back.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I'll let you get back to it, dude. I'm sure you're exhausted. The only other thing I was going to ask about is just actually, you know what? I think I pretty much covered everything. I'll let you get some rest, my dude.